Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Smita, and in today's video I'm going to be talking about deep learning. So more specifically, what is deep learning, why you should learn it, and how can you go about learning it. So let's get into it. We talk a lot about machine learning on this channel, and deep learning is actually a subfield within machine learning. The difference between deep learning and machine learning is that deep learning involves something called neural networks. Now, neural networks are not related to neurons or neural networks in our brain, but neural networks are actually very complex mathematical formulas which take in inputs and actually spread them throughout the neural network. The main reason why deep learning has got its name, deep learning, is because it involves multiple neural networks which are stacked on top of each other. So that's where the name deep actually comes from. To get a better understanding of what neural networks are, let's actually look at this definition of neural networks by MIT. So, neural nets are a means of doing machine learning, in which a computer learns to perform some task by analyzing training examples. Usually, the examples have been hand-labeled in advance. An object recognition system, for instance, might be fed thousands of labeled images of cars, houses, coffee cups, and so on. And it would find visual patterns in the images that consistently correlate with particular labels. To break down this definition, the most important aspect of deep learning and neural networks is that it is able to work with unstructured data like images and text and videos. So that's the biggest advantage over just machine learning, because just over the last decade, the amount of data that we have, which is unstructured when we're talking about, people storing their images to the cloud, or the type of messages which are being put out on Facebook or Twitter or on different social media. So we have a tremendous amount of unstructured data, which is around on the internet, and people want to make use of these. So to make use of these type of data and to actually get some sort of meaningful insight from unstructured data, that is where neural networks and deep learning actually come in. So this is where they actually shine through compared to machine learning. So that is one of the biggest reasons why you guys should definitely learn deep learning. And if you are learning machine learning, you should also definitely be learning deep learning. Because when we're actually looking at the direction in which the tech world and also internet in general is moving towards, we know that big data is going to be huge. And that's why deep learning is going to play a huge part, arguably more than even machine learning. So it's definitely important that if you guys are learning machine learning, you guys should definitely spend some time and also learn deep learning as well. Let's take a look at how companies right now are actually using deep learning in their products. So Apple, Google, Microsoft, they all have these voice-activated assistants, these virtual assistants like Siri and Cortana. By using things like natural language processing, they make use of deep learning. Natural language processing put together with deep learning is able to perform much better. Another major use case of deep learning is actually in recommendation systems. So Facebook, Google, even Netflix is using deep learning and neural networks in order to get better recommendations for its customers. So that is a huge aspect, because we can definitely expect to see recommendation systems in not just these services, but in almost every other service that we are going to use, whether it's for recommendations for the type of stocks that you should invest in, or whether it's a recommendation for maybe a type of loan that you guys should take, or even for healthcare diagnosis. So deep learning plays a huge aspect for recommendation systems because it is able to deal with all this unstructured data. Another major use of deep learning is actually in image recognition. Before deep learning, the accuracy of image recognition was pretty good, but was not anywhere close to human level good. By using deep learning, image recognition right now is actually in fact better than what even humans can decipher. So that's really great, especially when we are looking at self-driving cars, at security systems. So image recognition also is a huge aspect of that. So now that you know just how important deep learning is, and you know that it's going to play a tremendous amount of impact to the future of tech and also a lot of different industries, let's actually talk about how you can go about learning it. So I'm going to highlight 4 different courses which I believe are really important and crucial, especially if you're starting out and learning deep learning. So let's get into it. The first one is the Deep Learning.ai TensorFlow Developer Certificate, which is taught by Lawrence Moroney on Coursera. So this one is a really good one, and it's actually pretty easy to follow along. So it covers all the basic things like computer vision, CNNs, machine learning, natural language processing. So these type of things which are really important and which are also really good projects within deep learning. So it's a pretty good course to start out with. So the course actually starts off by giving sort of an introduction to TensorFlow, machine learning, and deep learning, and then you actually work with convolutional neural networks in TensorFlow, followed by a natural language processing example, and lastly you have some you get some experience with sequences, time series, and prediction. So it's a pretty good basic course for deep learning that you guys should check out. And once you actually do this once you actually finish this course, you can actually also apply for the TensorFlow Developer Certificate, which is really great, especially if you're planning to apply for jobs or further your career within machine learning. The next course which I want to talk about is called Advanced Machine Learning Specialization. And this course is not as beginner friendly as the previous course which I mentioned, but maybe you guys can take the previous course and then start this one after you finish the previous one. So this course actually starts off with an introduction to deep learning, and it also helps you guys to practice with some sort of competitions on Kaggle and also learn how to compete in data science competitions in Kaggle, which is really good. Bayesian methods in machine learning, and then practical reinforcement learning, as well as computer vision and natural language processing, and some other examples. So as you guys can see, computer vision, which is dealing with images and videos, and also natural language processing, which is dealing with text, is a huge aspect of deep learning. The third course for deep learning that I would recommend is actually fully available on YouTube, so you guys can watch it for absolutely free. And it's by Jeremy Howard. So it's an entire practical deep learning for coders. This course is actually pretty good for beginners, so you guys can pick and choose between which courses you want to take. So in this course, you are going to learn how to work with computer vision examples like image classification, image localization and detection, and also natural language processing, including document classification and language modeling. You also get to work with tabular data, like, for example, sales predictions, with categorical data, continuous data, mixed data, and including time series data as well. You also learn how to turn your models into web applications and also deploy them. So the previous courses which I mentioned don't exactly teach you how to do that. So there is a huge advantage with this course as well, especially if you want to actually work with web applications. The last course, which is also great for beginners who are learning deep learning, is actually by IBM. It's called Deep Learning Fundamentals with Keras. It also teaches you the concepts of artificial neural networks and includes things like gradient descent, backpropagation, vanishing gradient, and activation functions. And then it starts to teach you deep learning libraries, an introduction to deep learning libraries, and also introduction to deep learning models. There are some prerequisites before you guys take this course. It's expected that you guys know how to do some basic Python programming, as well as some basic machine learning with Python. And you guys are also expected to have some kind of knowledge of partial derivatives. So with most of the courses that I've mentioned, you guys can actually complete it and get a certificate once you're done. And that's also going to be really useful to put on your portfolio or even to put on your LinkedIn profile, especially if you are trying to apply for machine learning roles. A lot of companies who are looking for machine learning engineers definitely look out for people who have knowledge in deep learning as well. So this is definitely a huge skill for you guys to learn. So guys, that's it for today's video. Let me know what you guys thought in the comment section below. And if you are going to take some of these courses for deep learning, especially now that you know just how important it is. Thank you guys for watching and see you in my next video.